Coming up, we have singer and theatre performer Dana Musil back on the show, reviews of the Oscar-winning film Dallas Buyers Club, and a QUT short film, directed by Alistair Gardner. You're watching Showreel.
Welcome to Showreel. I'm Siobhan Colley.
And I'm James Peters. We have another great show coming up today. Today's guest host is theatre performer Dana Musil. Welcome back to the show, Dana.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be back.
Yes, hello. It's great to have you here again. And for those who didn't see you on the show last year, could you tell us what it is you do and how long you've been working in the industry for?
So I'm a performer for musical theatre mainly, although I love music in general, so I really try and branch out and do as much as I can. On the previous show, I explained that I did the 2-year Harvest Rain internship program, so I've been studying musical theatre for a while and then just trying to get as many gigs as possible and wrote my own cabaret.
Write your own cabaret?
Yeah.
Have you started with that or have you had any ideas floating around at the moment?
Yeah, I actually performed it last year. So it was called Dana's Delicious Delights. It was a one-woman show. It was essentially based off a Nigella cupcake bakery, and it was it's a very alternative cupcake bakery. She put very interesting things in her cupcakes and wasn't really getting the audience and many people buying her cupcakes because of the bizarre ingredients. But yeah, so it's a very different sort of cabaret.
It sounds quite interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get to where you are now? What pathways did you take and how can others get there?
So in high school, I did music and drama and really felt like that was where I was meant to be and what I loved. So after school, I decided I would want to go to university or do a course of some sort, audition for the Harvest Rain Theatre Company internship program, which was an optional 2-year course, fully immersed in the musical theatre world. So over those 2 years, I trained, did as many shows as I could. I got the opportunity to play Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, which was at QPAC, and it was so much fun. And then after graduating from that, I've basically been trying to get as many gigs as possible, auditioning for as much as possible. And I went to America last year to showcase, and yeah, that's kind of brought me to where I am today.
After finishing your internship at Harvest Rain, did you find that gave you a great platform for finding more work within Queensland, or was it still a matter of you sourcing out competitions and shows yourself?
Yeah, well, it's mainly about finding your own auditions, unless you have an agent, which they will do the work for you as well, but you still need to put in a lot of effort yourself and actively search for auditions and shows that you want to be in. So what I like to do is I have a lot of social media happening. So on Facebook, and there's a website called Star Now, which I've found really, really useful. You have to filter through certain auditions and figure out, well, which one is best for you, but I've found those resources have been fabulous. And obviously networking is a really important thing. Being in the right kind of opening nights is good, so you can mingle with the people in the show and get to know them and what they've been doing, and they can become really good friends. So it's just being active yourself and managing yourself, which is really important.
Absolutely. So you've done so much with theatre, but what about on camera? Have you done much on camera work?
It's been a field that I haven't done too much film or TV work, but it's something I'm really, really interested in. I know that there are a lot of differences with film and theatre, especially the detail that you need to have in film, the really in-depth emotion showing through your eyes, whereas, you know, theatre, you have to reach the back of a theatre, so you need to really extend those emotions out a lot further than in film. So I would really love to experiment with that. Yeah, it would be really cool.
Okay, great. And with regards to a day in the life of someone in your profession, I mean, is there a typical day, or what's it like in a day of the life of yourself at the moment?
It's very unknown. You take it really day by day. It's very interesting though. It keeps you on your toes. Your life can change in one day. You can get that certain phone call that is unexpected and for example, probably what I'll be doing next year, my life changed when I went to America to showcase. I was talking about that on the last show. It now looks like I'll be studying in New York next year if I can get all the money together.
Fantastic.
Musical theatre in New York. So, I mean, for an example, changing in one day can change your life. So there's no typical day.
Where would you be studying in New York if that opportunity does happen for you?
Yeah, the New York Film Academy. So I would be studying musical theatre there for 1 year, maybe 2 years. It depends with visas and whatnot and whether I can stay there longer, hopefully. So it's really still in the works, but exciting. Really exciting.
Sounds so good.
Thank you.
So what are some of the major skills that you'd need to have for someone in your profession, like with acting and theatre?
Obviously, passion has to be number one. You have to love it and immerse yourself fully in it if you want to get a career out of it. It's definitely not the easiest road, but every job has got bumps and hills and whatnot. So it's an amazing industry, and I know that I have got this career in my mind, and I've always had it in my mind, and I just can't see me doing anything else. I veered off the question slightly.
That's okay.
Sorry, what was it again?
It was
The skills you need for the profession.
The skills you need, sorry. Resilience is very important, getting back from the knockbacks and just having the fire in your belly to keep going. Triple threat skills in musical theatre are important. You need to do dancing, acting and singing. Other skills, what else is there?
Too many to
name. I can't think. My mind's just.
Well, with singing, was it a natural talent for yourself? Was it something that you felt comfortable doing? And obviously, you had great natural talent, so you've taken it further through training, or?
Yeah, so I always knew singing. I did choirs, I did music in school. It was just something I had to do. Whether it be a hobby or a career, it's now turned into a career, which is great. But I really find that singing and dancing and acting are just an element of what I need to do in the theatre world. And I'm forgetting the questions, I'm sorry. What was...
No, that's okay. I mean, you've answered it perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a break, but we'll be back soon for more Showreel. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Showreel. We're chatting with Dana Musil about performing in theatre. Hello again, Dana.
Hello.
So, just before the break, we'll be getting into some pretty in-depth questions. And what are the biggest obstacles faced in the profession?
Obviously not getting a role or not getting an audition is slightly disheartening, especially when it's something that you invested yourself in 100% before the audition, and during the callbacks. It's obviously not getting something is hard, but through that you can turn that every experience and every opportunity like that into a positive and say you've taken something and learned something from it. So I mean, you come across certain setbacks that do step you that foot back, but you just know that you have to keep going. You have to be resilient, get yourself up and dust your shoulders off and keep going. So I mean, every setback and every knockback can be turned into a positive, which is good.
I really like that attitude. And I mean, in the stressful environment of auditions or when you're about to go on stage, are there any techniques you use to stay calm or to sort of centre yourself, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own personal way to keep themselves calm and prepare for a show or an audition. I know a lot of people even like to do yoga, which I think is really cool. But for me, I just love getting to know people. I love just chatting and getting myself comfortable with the surroundings and with the people who are there. I know something that I do, I love just to sit down and have a coffee as well. That's just so calming for me, and just drinking lots of water. But yeah, I know that everyone has their different opinions of what they like to do, and I think it's nice just to sit down and relax and get to know everyone. So that's kind of my way. Also going over the script before the show, just to get your mind out of everything that happened during that day and onto that show or onto that script for an audition, or investing yourself in that.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that would be a hard thing to do. In film, it would be the same with theatre, I guess. Every director and every producer is looking for a particular thing, but in a general sense,
Yep.
what do they look for when you go for an audition?
For the director or casting director, or if
The casting
you had
director, yeah.
an agent?
The casting director themselves, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they look for someone who's going to bring their own unique touch to the character or to the role that they are auditioning for. Positivity and energy, and yeah, I think bringing a nice vibe to the set or stage is a very important thing. Also, if they get along with everyone, that's really helpful. What else do they look for? I mean, you've got to be the look that they're after. You've got to be marketable. That's kind of, from what I gather, they are looking for. I mean, it can be different for everything. Every audition's different, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now for the deep question. Dana,
Yes.
why do you do what you do?
Because I love it. It's the only thing I can see myself doing. And lucky I have really supportive family who think the same. They're not telling me get a second job or that's just a hobby, which is really, really nice. And I know a lot of people don't always get that, and it's really tough, and they've got to really believe that this is what they want to do, and they've got to stick to it. They're going to make sure they do it, because if you don't, you won't be happy, and you need to be happy. And I think just singing brings out the best in me, and it always keeps me happy and on my toes and bubbly, and I can't imagine anything else.
Yeah, I find it a bit hard to imagine, not being able to smile while you're on stage and singing and dancing.
So
and
much fun,
but,
and it's so rewarding.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for your insight,
you.
Dana. It's been great having you, but we do have 2 more questions before we get on to our reviews. Who is your favourite actor, and what is your favourite movie?
Okay, so my favourite actor in film or theatre, because I can sort of give you both.
Give us both.
Okay, so in film, I really like Emma Watson, I really like Emma Stone, I love Hugh Jackman because he crosses both worlds, and Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. So they're kind of my group that I really, really love. But Broadway-wise, Natalie Weiss is a huge one for me. She's amazing. And favourite film? The Great Gatsby at the moment. I think it's just so theatrical, and the costumes, everything aesthetically is just beautiful. So I think that's probably my top one at the moment. It'll change.
Awesome, it always does.
Yeah.
It always does. Now moving on to reviews. This week we're reviewing another recent Oscar-winning film, Dallas Buyers Club, directed by Jean-Marc Vallée and written by Craig Borden and Melissa Wallach. The biopic stars Matthew McConaughey as Ron Woodruff, a Texan electrician and rodeo cowboy diagnosed with AIDS in 1985 and given 30 days left to live. He forms the Dallas Buyers Club to distribute illegal pharmaceutical drugs that aid his condition. So, like a hillbilly shopping for a new home. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Mr. Woodruff, you've tested positive for HIV. Have you ever used intravenous drugs? Have you ever engaged in homosexual conduct?
Homo. You say homo? You made a mistake, 'cause that ain't me.
Mr. Woodruff, we estimate you have 30 days left.
There ain't nothing out there that can kill There ain't nothing out there that can kill Ron Woodruff in 30 days. If there were ever an accurate portrayal of a dead man walking tall, Dallas Buyers Club succeeds as inspirational. Ron Woodruff is a chauvinistic homophobe who takes on the Drug Enforcement Agency through his liberating journey to extend his life and become an unlikely AIDS activist. It is the performances by Matthew McConaughey as Ron and Jared Leto as Rayon in this movie that really bring depth to the drama. The development of the friendship and dependency between Ron and Rayon is hypnotic. Both men have delved so far into their characters, their mannerisms, their walks, the untold stories hidden behind their eyes, their drive to live and not be defined by this disease. Not to mention the absurd amount of weight lost by each man to achieve the sunken, fleshless, hardened look of a person long suffering from AIDS. Credit must also be given to the accurately eccentric wardrobes of both, between Rayon's fur coats and classy shades, and Ron's slick boots and damn fine hats. There ain't no mistaking they mean business. Based on a true story, Ron gave hope to a generation of people considered misfits and less than worthy by groups within society. As proven time and time again, it takes a hustler to change the world. I give this bootlicking flick 5 yeehaws out of 5.
Sex, drugs, rodeo, and Jared Leto playing a transgender woman. Dallas Buyers Club, directed by French-Canadian director Jean-Marc Vallée, hit American screens back in November of 2013. Matthew McConaughey gives life to Ron Woodruff in a fashion that awarded him an Academy Award for the role, and also a comfortable 22 other awards from organisations globally. 30 Seconds to Mars frontman Jared Leto also won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role of Rayon, a transgender AIDS patient who helps Ron come out of his shell and enjoy life again. The film also won an Oscar for makeup and hairstyling, bringing the total to 3 Academy Awards. Dallas Buyers Club is simply brilliant. The use of emotion that was displayed by McConaughey throughout the film was outstanding, and something I honestly didn't think he had it in him. But I was so very wrong. This film brings in all the great elements to become a picture that will be talked about for years to come. I give it 5 cowboy hats out of 5.
Well, we have to take another break. We'll be back soon with the short film Fear. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. On every episode of Showreel, we screen a short film made by members of the local community to showcase the fantastic emerging talent we have in and around Brisbane.
This week's short film is from QUT and is directed by Alistair Gardner. Let's take a look.
Has been left in shock after police found 3 people dead in a suburban. So baffled by the deaths, police have made no comment, but they are treating the case as suspicious and are making further commitments. When I walked in, all I can describe it as, it looks like it. I mean, they look petrified, like something had actually scared them to death. Police have issued a warning for people to err on the side of caution in case of any more strange occurrences. Now to Arnold with the sport. Oh, Sam, after the Bombers' effort on the weekend, it's their fans that are scared to death.
that bad.
Really? What are these then?
Ow! They're just my undies.
It's not just your undies you leave everywhere all the goddamn time. It's also the beer bottles, the never-ending stream of dishes and plates, the stains that always just appear on the clothes. You play your PlayStation late every night. The DVD cases are never put away. Seriously, it's disgusting. You have to get your shit together before we get married.
Look, I'm sorry. I really mean it.
You shouldn't have to be sorry in the first place. Just don't make such a mess.
And more on earlier news, police have concluded that 3 deaths overnight were due to a toxic spill in the nearby Kellogg's factory. Previous suspicion has been quelled, but police have released a new warning for everybody to closely check their cornflakes before eating breakfast. Now to a new track from the ever more popular Randy Vandal.
Gavin! How many times do I have to tell you?
And you can see the film again on our website. What did you think about it, Dana?
Oh, I actually really liked it. It was very clear their intention. I thought that they had some really, really cool dynamic shots and were showing good emotion through lighting changes and whatnot. What did you guys think?
I thought it was a really relatable theme. So, I mean, nearly anyone watching it has either witnessed that sort of relationship between man and female. It also made it comical because it's an actual situation in many homes, I think, yes.
I think one of my favourite things about it was the original score, which it had the credits at the end. It really tied everything in together. Because just one of the basic rules with filmmaking is you make the film and then you make the score. You never film to the music. And to see student films doing that, that's really good. It shows like a more professional standard.
Yeah, the music really created the atmosphere in the end, especially when it got to the end and he's crouching down with the shovel in hand and
Tension's high.
it was really washed out in that scene.
Yeah.
Is that something that they would do in post to alter with the colouring?
Oh,
or
everything. Oh, actually, you shouldn't say everything is in post. But with the colour grading, the major thing that I did notice is with the woman's perspective. The way that they shot it together, or the way that they edited it together, made it feel like it was a monster coming after him.
Yes.
And it had the red tone over the top, whereas his was the faded out.
Yes.
So it really gave that difference between the two characters, and it really helped develop it. Yeah. Another thing that I noticed as well is ADR, which is like the overdub with the dialogue. It's really good that they did that. Because a good thing with doing that is if, say, a plane went over the top. You can just redo the audio, and almost every film does it these days. Yeah.
Okay, for someone like myself who doesn't have a huge amount of film knowledge, ADR, that's used in nearly all films these days?
Mostly from... Oh, it's really hard to justify. Not every film does it.
Yes.
But you can notice mostly breathing. When you hear breathing, that's like one of the big things. Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
and it's used, I guess, to amplify or exaggerate certain sounds?
Yeah.
Okay,
An
great.
example that I really picked out of that especially was the heartbeat when he was in the shed. I was like, yeah, that's so how you would be feeling, but you wouldn't necessarily hear it. So to dub that over the top, that was really creative. That was cool.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us, Dana.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
No worries. Make sure you check out our website, the Showreel podcast on iTunes, and our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages.
And please donate to our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. Your support will help up-and-coming filmmakers, actors, and presenters continue to gain invaluable experience from community television.
Tune in the same time next week for more Showreel. See you then.